All right, Job chapter 37. Let's call this one, Do You Know and What Can You Do? Because that is largely going to represent two phrases that Elihu is going to use in this chapter to challenge Job one final time to open his mind to what God might be ready to show him. As, like we said, this week we're going to do more rough outlines of the chapter as opposed to thorough summaries because, like we said, it's been that kind of week. But those questions are going to pop up literally beginning around verse 15 or really 14, where Elihu is going to say, Hear this, O Job. Stop and consider the wondrous works of God. Do you know how God lays the command upon them, or his command upon them, and causes the lightning of his cloud to shine? Do you know the balances of the clouds, the wondrous works of him who is perfect in knowledge, you whose garments are hot when the earth is still because of the south wind? Can you, like him, spread out the skies hard as a cast metal mirror? Teach us what we shall say to him. And all that stems from something he says in verse 13, where he says, whether for correction or for his land or for love, he causes it to happen. As Elihu talks about a number of the natural circumstances in our environment that are beyond our understanding and our control. And it seems to be that he is picking up from what he mentioned in the last chapter, where he was challenging Job as the chapter 37 starts off. Keep listening, because it's not over yet. And so just like the injustice that Job is mired in at the moment tempted him to lose focus on the things that he might have been otherwise able to discern in his relationship with God, which, as we see from the very beginning, seemed like it was relatively healthy. Job is now in a situation where Elihu is coming alongside him, not to condemn him for the mistakes he's making, but as one who is not suffering as much as Job and can give Job a perspective that Job could have probably had he not been suffering in such a degree that he just wanted out. And so when Elihu is challenging Job with those two questions, do you know and what can you do? Ironically enough, it's going to be very similar to the way in which God himself is going to question Job over the next few chapters, helping us understand that as Elihu concludes his address to Job in this chapter, he is going to conclude with this statement: therefore, men fear God because of the fact that he's committed to justice and he has the power to make it happen. He's going to say, therefore, men fear him. He does not regard any who are wise in their own heart, or some versions are going to say conceit. Understanding that going back to the chapter where Job talks about what life was like in his prime, a lot of what he talked about was focused on all that he was able to do as he sat as an authority at the gate. But now that all of that has gone away, he is in a level of despair he probably never could have expected. And understand, in life, it is difficult in times when things are going well to see all of the ways in which it could go wrong, because sometimes that just feels like a downer. And moreover, sometimes the good times can keep us busy enough that it's enough to simply try to manage everything we've got on our plate, even though times are otherwise good. But as I think we've mentioned before, Job's ability to manage these difficult times might have been a little bit easier. And I'm shuddering to use the term easier, because nothing that Job is going through is easy, but these times might have been more manageable if his days at the gate might have spent just a little bit more time focusing on all the things that his power still could not accomplish. Because Elihu is helping him to realize that in addition to his frustration with the injustice of his situation and the level of affliction that he's in, one of the things that can also prevent him from getting a response from God is low-key pride. And understand, to the degree that Job, an humble man, is having pride squeezed out of him and exposed in this time of affliction, how much worse it would be for us when we're under that level of stress. And so praise God for those people who God brings to us as he is bringing our character to a higher level through great frustration and affliction. People who come to us not with condemnation, but simply come to us with reminders that can help us get across the finish line when we run what seems to be a very exhausting race.